On a warm September evening in 2024, a small chapel in Paris's Al-Dalah site glowed with candlelight, its stone walls echoing with the soft hum of a string quartet. Aisha Patel, a 32-year-old software consultant from Bangalore, stood at the altar, her crimson sari catching the light, gold zari threads shimmering with each breath. Beside her was Etienne Laurent, a 38-year-old architect from Lyon, his tuxedo crisp, his smile wide but tinged with the weight of expectation. 60 guests filled the pews, Etienne's wealthy family and Aisha's expat colleagues. While a Zoom link connected to her family in Bangalore, their faces flickering on a screen. The couple exchanged vows, blending French promises with a saptapadi, circling a small flame 7 times, a nod to Aisha's Tamil roots. But beneath Aisha's poised smile lay a secret she'd guarded through their whirlwind romance. She was transgender, her journey from Arjun to Aisha hidden from Etienne. By night's end, that secret would unravel their love and blood. Aisha had arrived in Paris 3 years earlier, her work visa landing her a coding job at a tech firm in La Défense. Born Arjun in a middle-class Bangalore neighborhood, she'd known from childhood that she was a woman, despite her assigned male gender. At 19, she came out to her family, enduring neighbors' scorn but finding solace in her parents' and brother Raja's support. Hormone therapy and surgeries followed. Her transition complete by 29, her Indian passport updated to Aisha Patel. Paris offered freedom, a chance to live as herself without the weight of India's conservative norms. Her Montmartre apartment, filled with books and saris, became a sanctuary where she hosted curry nights with friends like Sophia, a queer artist who knew her truth. "You're unstoppable," Sophia would say, toasting Aisha's courage. But love, Aisha feared, might demand a price she wasn't ready to pay. Etienne, born into Lyon's elite, grew up under the shadow of his father Henri, a retired banker, and mother Claire, a devout Catholic. His architectural designs, sleek towers for Paris firms, earned him praise, but his personal life bore the strain of family expectations. Marry well, uphold tradition. Past girlfriends described him as charming but controlling, his temper flaring when his vision was challenged. Meeting Aisha at a Saneside cafe in 2022 changed him. Her wit, her stories of Bangalore's chaotic streets, and her quiet strength drew him in. Over dinners of doses and French wine, they fell in love, their dates a blur of Diwali dances and moonlight walks by the Eiffel Tower. "You're my adventure," he told her, proposing under the Arc de Triomphe in 2024. Aisha accepted, her heart soaring, but she hadn't told him about her past. "I'll tell him after the wedding," she texted Sophia, "when we're safe." The wedding was Etienne's dream, funded by Henri, who insisted on a grand affair. Aisha agreed, weaving in Indian touches, a marigold-draped altar, Tamil blessings via Zoom from her mother, Lakshmi. Etienne's family, especially Claire, admired Aisha's exotic charm, unaware of her transgender history. At the reception in a bistro by the Seine, guests savored samosas and champagne, toasting the couple's union. Aisha, radiant but tense, pulled Sophia aside. "What if he rejects me?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Sophia hugged her. "He loves you. Be honest soon." Aisha nodded, her fear warring with hope. She'd planned to tell Etienne during their honeymoon, believing his love would endure. After the reception, they retreated to a Marais hotel suite, the city's lights twinkling outside. Etienne uncorked a Bordeaux, toasting, "To us, my love." Aisha smiled, her stomach nodding. She'd mastered intimacy's delicate dance, tucking, careful touches, but Etienne's passion, fueled by wine, pressed beyond her control. As they moved to the bed, his hands explored, grazing a faint surgical scar on her hip. He froze, his face clouding. "What's this?" he asked, pulling back. Aisha's breath caught, the moment she dreaded arriving. "Etienne, I need to tell you. Are you a man?" he demanded, his voice sharp, cutting through the quiet. Aisha's eyes filled with tears. "I'm a woman. Transgender. I've always been Aisha to you." Etienne's shock turned to rage. "You lied," he shouted, grabbing his phone, his hands shaking. "This marriage is a fraud. You've made me a fool." His voice rose, thick with his lion accent. "My family. They'll think I'm a homosexual." Aisha reached for him, pleading, "I love you. Let me explain." But his fury exploded. He struck her jaw, sending her crashing against the bed, blood seeping from her lip. "You've humiliated me," he roared, his hands closing around her throat. Aisha clawed at him, gasping, "Etienne, stop." But his grip tightened, his face a mask of betrayal. In the struggle, Etienne seized a crystal vase from the nightstand, its weight cold in his hands. With a guttural cry, he swung, striking her temple. Aisha's body went limp, blood pooling on the sheets, the jasmine in her hair stained red. Etienne stumbled back, the vase shattering on the floor. He collapsed, sobbing, "What have I done?" As dawn broke, he called the police, his voice broken. "My wife, she's dead. It was an accident." The gendarmes arrived, sealing the suite. Etienne, disheveled, muttered about Aisha's deception. The autopsy revealed her transgender history. Hormone therapy, surgical scars, sparking a media storm. Lou Parisian screamed, "Transgender bride's deadly secret." Aisha's family in Bangalore, devastated, demanded justice. Raj, her brother, flew to Paris, confronting Etienne at the station. "You killed her for being herself." Etienne's family, Lions Elite, reeled. Claire whispered to reporters, "We thought she was perfect." The trial loomed, Etienne facing murder charges, his defense claiming provocation. But Aisha's story, her courage, her love, began to emerge, a woman who'd crossed oceans only to die for her truth. The Marais Hotel suite, once a sanctuary for Aisha Patel and Etienne Lawrence wedding night, was now a crime scene, sealed by police tape as dawn broke on September 22, 2024. Aisha's body lay on the blood-soaked bed, her crimson sari stained darker where a crystal vase had crushed her temple. Etienne, his tuxedo rumpled, sat in a corner, clutching a Bordeaux bottle, his voice trembling as he told arriving officers, "It was an accident, she wasn't what she said." The words, laden with the shock of Aisha's transgender identity, set the stage for a case that would unravel their love story and ignite a global storm. As the gendarmes cuffed Etienne, Inspector Camille Dubois took charge, her sharp instincts sensing a truth deeper than his fractured confession. The investigation would expose not just a murder, but the fragile fault lines of love, identity, and betrayal. Aisha's journey to this moment began in Bangalore, where she was born Arjun in a Tamil family. At 19, she came out as transgender, facing hostility from neighbors, but finding refuge in her parents' and brother Raj's support. By 29, after hormone therapy and surgeries, she was legally Aisha Patel, her identity affirmed. Moving to Paris in 2021 for a tech job, she thrived, her coding skills earning respect, her warmth drawing friends like Sophia, who knew her secret. Aisha's hesitation to tell Etienne stemmed from fear, his family's conservative values, his offhand comments about traditional marriage made her delay disclosure. "I'll tell him after the honeymoon," she'd written in her journal, found later on her laptop. "I want him to love me first." Etienne, raised in Lions Elite circles, carried the weight of his parents' expectations. Henri, a banker, and Claire, a devout Catholic. His architectural career flourished, but his personal life bore scars of control. Ex-girlfriends recalled his temper when challenged. Meeting Aisha in 2022, he was captivated by her vibrancy, their romance a blend of Parisian cafes and Diwali celebrations. He proposed in 2024, unaware of her transgender history, seeing her as the exotic wife his family would admire. Aisha's silence, born of love and fear, set the stage for the tragedy that unfolded in the hotel suite. At 6 a.m., Inspector Dubois surveyed the scene, her notepad filling with details. Aisha's neck bruised from strangulation, her jaw swollen, the vase's shards bearing Etienne's fingerprints. She ordered him taken to the 4th arrondissement station, where he sat, disheveled, in an interrogation room. His lawyer, Marcel Dupont, a veteran of high-profile cases, urged silence, but Etienne spoke haltingly. She said she was a woman, but she wasn't. I lost it. Du Bois, watching through the glass, noted his anger over remorse. He's not grieving, she told Lieutenant Marc Renault. He's furious she deceived him. The autopsy, completed by noon, confirmed Aisha's transgender identity. Hormone therapy, surgical scars, and the cause of death, a fatal skull fracture, with strangulation marks suggesting intent. The news exploded across Paris. Le Figaro reported, Indian bride killed in Paris hotel, while tabloids screamed, transgender secret sparks wedding night murder. Reporters swarmed the hotel, snapping photos of the cordon suite. Social media split. Hashtag Justice for Aisha clashed with hashtag Paris Deception, some mourning a victim of violence, others echoing Etienne's claim of betrayal. In Bangalore, Aisha's family learned of her death via a call from the U.S. Embassy in Delhi, used for American expats like Sophia. Raj, her brother, collapsed, clutching a photo of Aisha as a child. She was so happy in Paris, he whispered to their mother, Lakshmi, who prayed with a mala, her Tamil chants broken by sobs. Raj and their cousin Priya, a lawyer, arrived in Paris on September 23rd, identifying Aisha's body at the morgue. Her face, bruised but serene, still held traces of jasmine from her wedding braid. She loved him, Raj told Du Bois, his voice raw. Why couldn't he accept her? Priya, steely, added, this was no accident. He killed her for being transgender. Du Bois questioned them, learning of Aisha's transition and her fear of telling Etienne. She thought he'd understand, Raj said. She was wrong. Meanwhile, Etienne's family rallied in Lyon. Claire, his mother, told Le Monde, we loved Aisha, but this lie? It's unforgivable. Henri remained silent, his disapproval a wall. Dupont, Etienne's lawyer, built a defense around crime passional, claiming Aisha's undisclosed identity provoked Etienne's shock. He was blindsided, Dupont told reporters outside the station. This wasn't premeditated. Aisha's friends, led by Sophia, pushed back. She was a woman, Sophia posted online. Etienne killed her truth. Du Bois's investigation deepened, her team scouring Aisha's phone and laptop. Text to Sophia revealed her fear. If I tell Etienne, will he still love me? A journal entry read, Paris is my freedom, but his family is old-fashioned. I'm scared. These words, raw and honest, painted Aisha as a woman caught between love and survival. Her silence a desperate bid to hold onto happiness. Etienne's contradictions surfaced. Colleagues described him as charming but volatile, prone to anger when control slipped. An ex-girlfriend, Elise, told Du Bois he hated being surprised. He needed to be in charge. His phone showed searches before the wedding, transgender signs, Indian gender laws, suggesting suspicion. Hotel footage captured him pacing the lobby pre-ceremony, his jaw tight, unlike the smiling groom at the altar. He knew something, Du Bois mused to Renault. Maybe not everything, but enough to question. By September 24th, the case was global. Indian media, like The Hindu, ran headlines, Bangalore woman's Paris murder sparks outrage. Protests erupted in Delhi, with activists demanding justice. In Paris, trans advocates rallied outside the Palais de Justice, holding signs, Aisha was a woman. The U.S. Embassy, coordinating with Sophia, pressed French authorities for transparency. Du Bois verified Aisha's legal transition through Indian and French records, but the media fixated on her secret, reducing her life to a scandal. Raj, speaking to India Today, pleaded, Aisha was my sister, not a headline. She was brilliant kind. Etienne faced murder charges, his defense hinging on provocation, a claim Du Bois rejected. Those bruises, that vase, they weren't accidents, she told Renault. Evidence mounted, witness statements, forensics, Aisha's digital trail, pointing to intent. Was Etienne a betrayed husband or a man driven by prejudice? Aisha's love, once a bridge between cultures, now lay in ruins, her death a question Paris couldn't ignore. By October 2025, the murder of Aisha Patel had transformed Paris into a battleground of ideas, her death in a Marais hotel suite exposing raw tensions over gender, identity, and love. The Palais de Justice, its stone facade looming over the Seine, hosted Etienne Laurent's trial, drawing crowds of protesters chanting justice for Aisha and counter-demonstrators decrying deception in marriage. Inside the courtroom, the air crackled with anticipation as Inspector Camille Dubois's evidence clashed with Etienne's defense, each piece a thread in the unraveling of Aisha's life and death. The trial wasn't just about a murder, it was a reckoning with the truths Aisha had carried and the rage that ended her. Aisha's journey to that fatal night began in Bangalore, where she grew up as Arjun in a Tamil family. Coming out as transgender at 19, she faced neighbors' scorn but leaned on her brother Raj and parent support. By 29, after hormone therapy and surgeries, she was legally Aisha, moving to Paris in 2021 for a tech job. Her warmth and coding skills won friends like Sophia, who knew her secret. Aisha's love for Etienne Laurent, sparked in 2022 at a cafe, was a dream she feared could shatter. Her journal, now evidence, revealed her plan. "I'll tell Etienne after the wedding. I want him to see me first." Her silence, born of love and fear of his conservative family, led to the tragedy that now gripped the world. Etienne, raised in Lyons elite, bore the weight of his parents' Catholic values. His architectural career thrived, but his need for control strained past relationships. Aisha's vibrancy, her stories of Bangalore, her Diwali dances, captivated him, but his pre-wedding phone searches for transgender signs suggested doubts. In the hotel suite on September 21, 2024, his discovery of Aisha's surgical scar unleashed a fury he claimed was shock. His strike with a crystal vase killed her, a moment he called an accident, but Dubois saw as intent. Now, in court, his fate hung on whether his rage was a fleeting passion or a deeper prejudice. The trial opened on October 10, 2025, in a packed courtroom, the judge's gavel silencing murmurs. Etienne, pale in a gray suit, sat beside his lawyer, Marcel Dupont, who argued crime passional, claiming Aisha's undisclosed transgender identity provoked Etienne's temporary insanity. "My client was deceived," Dupont told the court, his voice steady. "He entered a marriage under false pretenses, his honor shattered." The claim, rooted in France's outdated legal tradition, drew sharp gasps from Aisha's supporters. Raj, seated with Priya, their cousin and lawyer, whispered, "He killed her for being herself." Priya's eyes burned. "This isn't passion, it's hate." Dubois's evidence told a different story. She presented the autopsy, strangulation marks, a fractured jaw, a fatal skull fracture from the vase, proving deliberate violence. Security footage showed Etienne pacing the hotel lobby pre-ceremony, his face tense, contradicting his claim of blissful ignorance. His phone searches, Indian gender laws, transgender surgery, suggested he suspected Aisha's identity. Aisha's journal, read aloud, pierced the room. "I love Etienne, but his family expects a real woman. I'm scared to lose him." Sophia, testifying, choked back tears. She wanted to tell him after the honeymoon. She thought love would win. The prosecution, led by Claire Moreau, argued Aisha's silence wasn't deceit. It was survival in a world that judges. Public reaction was a firestorm. Outside, trans advocates waved signs. Aisha was a woman, not a lie. Indian media, like the Times of India, decried the murder as a hate crime, while Le Figaro ran balanced pieces, questioning cultural expectations. Tabloids fueled division, with Paris Match screaming, "Trans bride's secret ends in blood." Social media split. Hashtag Justice for Aisha trended alongside hashtag marriage betrayal, some vilifying Aisha as a manipulator, others mourning her courage. In Bangalore, Aisha's mother, Lakshmi, prayed with a mala, her Tamil chants a plea for justice. Raj, speaking to NDTV, said, "My sister was more than her body. She was brilliant, kind, brave. Du Bois dug deeper, interviewing Etienne's colleagues, who described his temper when challenged. An ex-girlfriend, Elise, revealed he hated surprises. Control was everything. A co-worker recalled Etienne's unease before the wedding, muttering about Aisha's secrets. Du Bois found a text Etienne sent to a friend days prior. Something's off with her past. He wasn't blindsided. Du Bois told Renaud over coffee near the station. He was building a case in his head. Aisha's digital trail, texts, emails, a blog, revealed her fear. If Etienne's family knew I was trans, would they accept me? She confided in Sophia. I want to be his wife, not his scandal. Etienne's family, Lyon's elite, stood by him. Claire, his mother, told reporters, "We loved Aisha, but this lie broke Etienne's heart." Henri, silent, withdrew funding for Etienne's defense, a subtle distancing. The Laurent name, tied to Catholic tradition, faced whispers of shame. Dupont's defense leaned on cultural clash, arguing Aisha's silence violated Etienne's expectations of marital transparency. In Lyon, honesty is sacred, he said, framing Aisha as the betrayer. But Moreau countered, Aisha's identity was hers to share. Etienne's violence was his choice. New evidence emerged. A hotel staffer overheard Etienne arguing with Aisha hours before the ceremony, his voice sharp. "You're hiding something." The witness, a waiter, testified. He seemed angry, not in love. Aisha's phone showed a draft email to Etienne, unsent. "I'm transgender. I wanted to tell you, but I was scared. I love you." The words, displayed in court, silenced Etienne, his head bowing. Raj wept, whispering she tried. Sophia, in the gallery, gripped Priya's hand, her voice low. She deserved better. The trial exposed broader issues. French trans advocates, like activist Marie Du Bois, argued Aisha's death reflected systemic bias. Trans women are killed for existing. In India, protests in Delhi demanded stronger protections for trans citizens, citing Aisha's courage. The U.S. Embassy, liaising for Sophia, pressed for a fair trial. Du Bois's investigation uncovered a pattern. 3 other trans women in France had faced violence from partners after disclosing their identities, though none fatal. Aisha's case isn't isolated, Du Bois told Renaud. It's a mirror. As the trial progressed, Etienne faced first-degree murder charges, carrying life. Dupont's provocation defense wavered under the weight of evidence. Bruises, premeditated searches, witness accounts. Was Etienne a man undone by shock or driven by prejudice? Aisha's love, once a bridge between Bangalore and Paris, now fueled a global debate, her truth a spark in a city grappling with its shadows. By November 2025, the trial of Etienne Laurent for the murder of Aisha Patel had gripped Paris, its echoes reverberating from the Palais Justice to the streets of Bangalore. The courtroom, its wooden benches packed, was a crucible where love, betrayal, and prejudice collided. Aisha, a 32-year-old transgender woman from Bangalore, had been killed by her French husband, Etienne, on their wedding night, September 21, 2024, after he discovered her transgender identity. The case, fueled by media frenzy and global protests, had exposed fault lines in society, gender, identity, and the cost of secrets. As the trial neared its verdict, Aisha's truth and Etienne's actions faced a final reckoning, shaping not just their story, but the world beyond. Aisha's path to that fatal night began in Bangalore, where she was born Arjun. Coming out as transgender at 19, she braved societal rejection with her family's support, completing her transition by 29. In 2021, she moved to Paris for a tech job, her legal identity as Aisha Patel affirmed. Her warmth drew friends like Sophia, but her love for Etienne, sparked in 2022, was shadowed by fear. His conservative family, Henri and Claire, Lyon's Catholic elite, made her delay disclosing her transgender identity. "I'll tell him after the honeymoon," she wrote in her journal, a decision that led to her death in a Marais hotel suite, where Etienne's rage ignited by a surgical scar, ended with a fatal blow from crystal vase. Etienne, raised to uphold tradition, saw Aisha as his perfect bride until that night. His pre-wedding searches, transgender signs, Indian gender laws, hinted at suspicions, undermining his claim of shock. In court, his lawyer, Marcel Dupont, argued crime passional, insisting Aisha's silence provoked Etienne's rage. But Inspector Camille Dubois's evidence, bruises, security footage, Aisha's unsent email confessing her truth, painted a picture of deliberate violence. As the trial progressed, the world watched, divided between those who saw Aisha as a victim and those who echoed Etienne's cry of betrayal. The trial's closing arguments unfolded on November 15, 2025, in a tense courtroom. Prosecutor Claire Moreau stood firm. Aisha Patel's identity was not a crime. Etienne Laurent's choice to kill her was. She presented Aisha's journal, her words haunting, "I love Etienne, but I'm scared his family won't see me as a woman." Sophia's testimony reinforced Aisha's fear. She wanted to tell him, but she knew his world wouldn't accept her. Moreau argued the strangulation marks and vase strikes showed intent, not passion. This was a hate crime rooted in prejudice, she declared, her voice cutting through the silence. Dupont countered, framing Etienne as a man undone by cultural expectations. In Lion, marriage is sacred, he said. Aisha's silence shattered Etienne's trust, driving him to a moment of madness. Etienne, testifying, wept, "I loved her, but she lied. I didn't mean to kill her." His tears swayed some, but Raj, Aisha's brother, seated with cousin Priya, shook his head. "He didn't love her," Raj whispered. "He loved an idea, new evidence." A hotel waiter's testimony of Etienne's pre-wedding argument with Aisha, accusing her of hiding something, further eroded his defense. Aisha's unsent email, read aloud, left the courtroom hushed. "I'm transgender. I was scared, Etienne, but I love you." On November 20th, the judge delivered the verdict. Guilty of first-degree murder, sentencing Etienne to 25 years without parole. The gallery erupted. Cheers from Aisha's supporters, gasps from Etienne's family. Claire, his mother, collapsed, sobbing, while Henri left silently, the Laurent name tarnished. Raj and Priya embraced, tears streaming. "Justice," Priya said, "but it won't bring her back." Outside, trans advocates chanted Aisha's name, their signs reading, "Her truth was enough." In Bangalore, Lakshmi, Aisha's mother, lit a diya, her Tamil prayers a quiet closure. The aftermath was seismic. Le Monde hailed the verdict as a step against transphobic violence, while the Hindu ran, Bangalore's daughter avenged. Social media buzzed, hashtag Aisha Lives outshone hashtag Paris Deception, with thousands sharing her story. Protests in Delhi pushed for trans protections, citing India's 2019 Transgender Persons Act, often unenforced. In Paris, activist Marie Dubois told France 24, "Aisha's death shows trans women are targets." This verdict is a start. The case spurred France to review its crime-passional defense, with lawmakers debating its repeal as outdated and biased. Dubois's investigation uncovered a broader pattern. For similar cases of violence against trans women in France since 2020, two involving partners. Aisha's case opened eyes, she told Renault, packing case files. Her team's work led to arrests in a related assault case, signaling a crackdown. The U.S. Embassy, supporting Sophia, ensured Aisha's story reached global NGOs. Sophia, launching a foundation in Aisha's name, spoke at a Paris vigil. "She was my sister, not by blood but by heart. We'll fight for her." Aisha's family returned to Bangalore, Raj carrying her ashes. At a memorial, Lakshmi spoke, her voice steady. "Aisha was our light. Her courage lives." They founded a scholarship for trans youth, funded by Aisha's savings. Etienne, in prison, wrote a letter, never sent. "I loved you, Aisha, but I didn't understand." His family, shunned in Lyon, faded from public view. Social media platforms, stung by criticism, tightened algorithms to flag predatory behavior targeting trans users, a nod to Aisha's case. 3 years later, Aisha's legacy endured. In 2028, Paris hosted a conference on trans rights, naming an award after her. Raj, now an advocate, spoke, "My sister loved to cross borders. Her death teaches us to see people, not labels." The case, studied in criminology courses, highlighted how prejudice fuels violence. Aisha's story is a warning. Du Bois told students at Sorbonne, "Love can blind, but hate kills." France implemented training for police to identify transphobic crimes, while India's trans community cited Aisha in legal battles for equality. Aisha Patel, once a headline, became a symbol, not of scandal, but of resilience. Her love for Etienne, her fight to live authentically, reshaped laws and hearts. As Paris moved on, its streets quieter, her name lingered, a reminder that truth, however hidden, demands to be seen.